Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to what may be the last Pokemon Black and White 2 Wi-Fi battle that I ever upload. With Pokemon X and Y coming out in 2 days, it's kinda winding down now with this game, so we'll see what happens, but I may revisit Gen 5 in the future, maybe as like a flashback thing. But either way, today we got a NU match against the TalbotHound, who is a longtime subscriber of mine, so I'm very happy to have this match today. I'm using a very fun team with a Specs Weezing, a offensive Miltank, as well as my awesome Calm Mind Golduck that I really enjoy, as well as a Scarf Pinsir, and then a couple of defensive pokes in Probopass and Parasect, whereas my opponent has a very interesting mix as well, having offensive Lickitung, which is something you don't see, Licky Licky, which you don't see too often, as well as packing a Butterfree, some offensive Torkoal as well, with Shell Smash and everything like that. So it's a pretty fun battle, and let's just jump into it right now. So to start things off, I'm going to lead off with my Weezing, as my opponent leads off with this Basculin. Now, assuming my opponent was going to switch out in the first turn, I just go for the Sludge Bomb. I also do pack the Thunderbolt, but he actually stays in and goes for a Waterfall, which does a really good chunk, showing me that it's banded, but the power of Specs Weezing is just too much for this Basculin to handle, as I one-shot it first turn with a Sludge Bomb. But here brings it as Jinx. I have to switch out, obviously, because I don't want to die to a Psychic, so I switch out into my Probopass right here to either take the Psychic. Could have also went for Lovely Kiss maybe, and I wouldn't really care if this guy was asleep. But either way, he actually just goes for Ice Beam. Still does not that much damage, obviously, because the Steel type resist, as I am able to freely set up my Stealth Rocks now on the following turn as he switches out, which pretty much confirms to me at this point in the game that it is a Scarfed Jinx. But he brings in his Licky Licky here, and I realized at this point that Licky Licky can't really do anything to Probopass normally, so he had to have some weird thing going on there. So I switched into my Parasect right here, and luckily, that was the great move that I made there, because otherwise my Probopass probably would have died, because he went for the Earthquake, which luckily for me, Parasect 4 times resists. However, he's just staying in here, constantly going for Earthquake, as I just set up a Leech Seed to maybe get some health back up, because I honestly don't want to put this thing to sleep, and the fact that he's staying in shows me that this is actually what he wants me to put to sleep. So I'm just going to stay in here behind a sub safely for as long as I possibly can until he has to switch out, and I can potentially put something else on his team to sleep. But I finally get the Leech Seed right here, which is going to actually be recovering a lot of health because of Licky Licky having a pretty massive HP stat. As you saw right there, it recovered like 50 points. But he does go out into his throw here, as I went for another sub, predicting him to break it on that turn with his Licky Licky going for another Earthquake. However, he goes out into throw, and throw can't really do too much to this Parasect either, because Payback won't be doing that much damage because he's going before I am. And also, Circle Throw or Storm Throw, whatever fighting move he has, isn't really going to be doing too much either. So I just set up a Leech Seed, and I see here that he doesn't have leftovers, which might reveal to me that he is like a Resto Chesto variant, which is pretty common thing for Throw to do. So I obviously don't want to go for the Spore again on this thing, because it's really just going to be a waste of a turn. But as you see right here, he can't really do too much, because the amount of damage that I'm recovering from Leech Seed is only, as you see right there, 6 points less than I'm losing from when I make my substitutes. So he has to switch out, and I'm safely behind a sub right here as he goes into his Butterfree. That thing takes massive Stealth Rock damage as I go for one X Scissor, and even with leftovers, I'm still able to, thankfully, KO this Butterfree on the following turn with my X Scissor, which is going to give me a pretty significant lead at this point in the battle. However, this is going to easily give him a free switch out into anything. He chose to go out into Torkoal, and I normally would assume that I'm faster than Torkoal here. So I go for the Spore as he goes for the Shell Smash, which scared the crap out of me at this point in the battle, because if he went for Fire Blast, I would have died right there, but I was assuming I was going to be faster since Torkoal is normally slower than Parasect, and he doesn't really have any other defensive Pokemon on his team. Thankfully, it works out in my favor there, and I'm able to actually now switch out into my Golduck to hopefully take advantage of the sleeping Torkoal, but he does bring in his Jinx instead. But not wanting to really take a hit at this point and not really having anything to hurt it, because all I have is Psychic and Scald, I switch out into my Probopass yet again, take an Energy Ball, which is actually really good because I dodged that with my Golduck, which would have taken some pretty good damage in that sense. But either way, I know he's going to switch out again, so I decided to go for the Volt Switch now that my Stealth Rocks are already up, to give you some good switch initiative as I now Volt Switch on his throw into my Weezing. Now, because I realized that he probably couldn't do too much to me, I figured I could take a Payback and 2-hit KO, so I just go for one Sludge Bomb, and that does like a solid 37% to a throw, which I'm assuming is max special defense, just to kind of show you how powerful Specs Weezing can be. But he actually went for bulk up, maybe predicting me to go for like a support move or something like that, but I just went all out attacking in that instance. But either way, now he brings in his Jinx, and I'm going to let this thing die right here, because whatever move he goes for, I can easily just bring in my Probopass no matter what on the following turn. So I actually do just that, and instead of just going for Volt Switch right away, because I knew it wasn't going to kill, and if he wanted to stay in predicting that, he could totally get off a huge hit on something else on my team, I decided to actually go for the Flash Cannon first, in case he did stay in, because obviously that would be super effective against the Jinx and most likely take it out from that range, or at least do enough damage to where he wouldn't be able to switch in again because of Stealth Rock. But now I am able to actually Volt Switch on this Torkoal. He is asleep for the mandatory turn of sleep, and I'm hoping for a 2-turn sleep, which luckily occurs right here, and gives me a free substitute, which is a really advantageous position for me right now. And it's great to have multiple Pokemon with substitute on a team, because you can take advantage of a lot of really good situations like I just did here. But either way, I have to go for this Psychic because I can't go for Scald. I don't want to give Jinx health if he switches that to in. But he does bring in his Licky right here, and I do go for it, predicting him to just obviously attack. He goes for the Explosion though at this point in the battle. I don't really know why. I assumed he just might have thought he lost at this point. But if you notice right there, we both had Cloud 9 at the same time, which I thought was just really funny, because there is definitely no weather going on right now. But at this point, all he has left at this point in the battle, as I just said, is this Jinx. He goes to the Energy Ball. I know I can take one, but unfortunately for me, he does get a critical hit, which is easily going to take out my Golduck from that range with the crit. But I can pretty much bring in anything at this point, so I decided to bring in my Miltank because he hadn't seen it yet. It is an offensive Miltank with Life Orb and Sap Sipper, and I luckily get to make use of the Sap Sipper right now, obviously because he is locked in on Energy Ball, and I'm able to just easily take it out from that range with the Body Slam. But that was it for this battle, everybody, and I thought this was a nice fast-paced one to kind of wrap up Pokemon Black and White 2 Wi-Fi battles. As I said, I may do another in the future, possibly for fun, but other than that, you know, this is kind of the conclusion of the series. So it's been a great time. 35 Wi-Fi battles uploaded is a really good amount, I think, and I can't wait to see what other kind of Wi-Fi battles come out of Pokemon X and Y when we get to that. And there are a lot of very interesting game mechanic changes that are speculated right now, and some of which have been confirmed, that are really going to shake up the metagame and make things very different from it was in Gen 5, for better or for worse. But I guess we'll see how these things go. But anyways, that is it for this video, everybody. So as always, thank you all for watching. Take care. Goodbye. I will see you next time, and also don't forget that starting tomorrow at 1 a.m., I guess this would be Sunday at 1 a.m., or Saturday 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is East Coast United States, North America, whatever you want to call it. I will be starting to live stream my first initial playthrough of Pokemon X and Y. So stay tuned for that. Check it out on my Twitch channel, as you can see on the screen right here. That is it officially for this video, everybody. So as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.